to give you solid satisfaction.
Hi folks, Jay here with Two Guys in a Ride here in Shorewood, Minnesota, September 2024. We're inside now in Randy Geyer's shop to beat the rain. Randy, why don't you tell us what we have here today?
Yeah, thanks, Jay. Well, we'll just go through them kind of quickly through my whole collection that's available to us today. I have other cars, but they aren't all here right now. But yeah, we had a little rainstorm. It seems to be clearing, but at any rate, we had to move in. The 60 Impala we took a look at. Great car, drives good. That was my first collector car that I bought that I kept. It's a cream puff. It just runs and drives just beautifully.
Beautiful car. What do we have here?
Next, as we talked about, is the 61 DeSoto. Again, DeSoto's last year of production. Very, very short production year of about 6 weeks, 47 days to be exact. They built 3,040 cars. They built 911 two-door hardtops. This is one of them, and maybe the finest one, or at least one of the finest ones around.
Now I noticed that you have two of the same in two different colors.
That's true, yes. Both of these cars are Chrysler 300F convertibles. Now, 300F, it's a part of the letter car series, and I'll go through this briefly. So Chrysler made what they called letter cars from 1955 to 1965. That actually is a total of 11 model years. The F being the 5th model year, I think I'm right, was 1960. Both of these cars, the black one on top and the red one below, are the same model, same car essentially, just one is black and one is red. They only made 248 of these convertibles total. These cars are restored to just exactly the way the factory made them. You'll notice that the big engine in there is a 413 cubic inch with cross ram induction. That's 2 4-barrels that are mounted clear outside of the engine wells. And what happens is that this carburetor feeds this side of the engine and that carburetor feeds this side of the engine. It creates an enormous amount of torque, kind of a supercharging effect. I put a modern battery in just for driving around town, but for show I have correct batteries. This car, as you can see, has won its national first prize winner, first junior we call that. This car above has won a grand national senior. That's almost as high as you can go in the AACA judging. By the way, if you're surfing around on the YouTube channel for Two Guys in a Ride, you will find we did a full video on this, and it's called the Cherry Bomb. The black one above we also did, and I call that the F-bomb because it's an F. These cars are beautiful, beautiful interiors. They're kind of luxury sports cars. Very, very powerful, very, very fast, but yet big cars with lots of luxury appointments, such as power seats, power windows, power door locks, air conditioning, on and on, power antenna, just power everything.
Can you tell us more about the dash here and the instrument panel, please?
That instrument panel is called the Astrodome, A-S-T-R-A, and it lights up at night with electroluminescence. And it's not probably dark enough in here, but you might get a taste of how beautiful that is. That's done with high voltage. There are no light bulbs in that dash whatsoever. The seats are swivel seats for easy ingress and egress.
So for when mom and dad need to turn around and give you a quick smack.
That's right. We all know that line. If I have to pull this car over, Beautiful, beautiful cars. They drive just, it's incredible.
I see here we have another Chrysler.
This is again in that series of letter cars that I just talked about. This is a 300C. C meaning that it's 1957. So this car also very luxurious, but also yet very powerful. And you'll want to look for the video that we did in Des Moines, Iowa on this car and the F-bomb together, because the cars are what I call sister cars. They were collected by the same man way back in the day and stored in his barn, and they got sold, and one went this way and one went that way, and they got sold and sold and sold, and I ended up with both of them just by sheer happenstance. You can see the whole story again on Two Guys in a Ride in Des Moines. Another big engine. This is a 392 Hemi, dual quads. That's exactly the way the factory made it and exactly the way the factory did it. This car, again, an AACA award winner, and it has gone all the way to a senior Grand National. Has a leather interior, and it has a highway hi-fi. That's a record player that plays 16 2/3 RPM records underneath the dash. But anyway, Columbia made the records, and there was a whole set of records, 36 records you could buy with this car. And I have almost all of those records now.
And we were talking, this was several, well, may even have been last year, but going down the road with that plane, I said, well, how much does it skip? And you said the car floats so much, there's never any skipping.
I'll tell you all kinds of lies about that. I like to say, if you want to know if it skips, then buy the car and you find out.
There you go.
I have no comment.
All right.
Beautiful interior. I'm always a big fan of the big steering wheels. I wish they'd bring them back.
It's absolute luxury, yeah. Okay, moving along. This is an interesting car too. This is a 59 DeSoto Adventurer convertible. This is one of only 97 ever made. Very rare, and I'm told by the DeSoto Club that there's like around 12 or 15 of these left in the world. So here's one. It's not a flawless car, but it's a very nice driver quality. I drive it, it runs and drives perfectly. This has a 383 cubic inch engine with dual quads again, 350 horse. It drives just fantastic. And look at that beautiful upholstery. They only made this car in 2 color combinations, white and gold as you see here, or black and gold. That's it.
I was just going to mention that the striping on the side, the gold is a very nice accent to this
Isn't
white.
it beautiful? And the ribs on the trunk lid.
First thing that popped out to me on the interior, other than the upholstery, was the carpeting and how they made it look like it was sparkling.
Yeah, I call it kind of Hollywood-esque. It has the gold sparkles that are just like the gold threads in the seat, so it kind of ties it all together. When this is out in the sunshine, that sun hits these seats and it just glitters. It's really cool.
And then as we move back towards the back of the trunk, you see the fins, and then you see this ribbing on the trunk. What? Ooh, I didn't see this. And also
the tower of taillights. Got plenty of taillights. I like the ribs on the trunk, yeah. And then the gold anodizing again underneath the trunk. It's just beautiful. Just a beautiful, beautiful car.
I noticed how, compared to the DeSoto we just did, that the DeSoto here is minuscule compared to the big lettering on the other trunk, and how they brought the gold from the back to the front.
It's kind of funny or amazing that some of those themes kind of carried through year to year, you know, with the gold and the white or gold and black, and the way that they did the lettering and the font and all that kind of thing. But it's always kind of similar, and they just kind of vary it from year to year. So again, that's 59. The black one was 61, 2 years apart.
Now, where did you get this car from? Did you get it as is? Have you restored it yourself personally?
I only had to fix a couple of things on the car, but I bought it essentially just exactly like you see it. It came from Sweden actually and was restored in Sweden, and I would guess it's been a number of years ago because it shows some wear and tear that it's been driven and enjoyed mostly in Sweden. I'm guessing that the restoration is around 20 years old, and it actually got bought by a Wisconsin guy who shipped it to Minnesota, and it was on auction in Winona, Minnesota, which is not too far from us. And so I've always wanted one of these cars, and it was a good opportunity to buy one, and buy one that's close to home so I don't have to pay so much shipping. So I just kept bidding until I owned it, and then I went and picked it up. Just, yeah, kind of funny how that happened. Yeah.
And now this one here on the left, I see another 300. Is this also part of the letter series?
Yes, again, this is a 300C, just like we looked at the black one and looked at the engine and everything. This is the same car, except the difference is, of course, this is a convertible and in white. And this one is completely unrestored. It's was owned by a fellow in Wisconsin who bought it in '62. And he drove it for a little while, and a lady hit him right up in the front bumper here and kind of bent the front bumper in a little bit. And he was so angry that he drove it home and he put it up on blocks and said, "I'll never drive this car again because I don't want anybody to ruin it." And he was just able to store it and look at it. He said, "I'm going to keep it till the day I die," which is exactly what he did. And then his son inherited it. And his son started looking around and shopping around trying to find someone to buy it. And he ended up contacting me, and I said, yeah, I'd be interested. And sure enough, I went and bought it and brought it home, and it wasn't running. I had to redo the gas lines and the gas tank and the brakes and brake lines and tune the engine and the radiator. Those types of things we had to do to make it drivable. Now it just runs and drives absolutely perfectly. It's just a delight.
But everything else about it is all
But this is, yeah, this is all original. The upholstery is factory installed. The paint is factory. I had this convertible boot made that didn't have one. But yeah, the carpet is factory. Yeah.
Any big plans for it upon restoration?
I'm not going to restore it. I'm just going to drive it around. It just drives perfectly. It doesn't overheat, doesn't do anything weird. It just drives great. So that's what I'm going to do with it.
And again,
it's a great parade car. I drive it in parades all the time.
Okay.
Again, it has a highway hi-fi installed from the factory.
well, speaking of originals, let's transition over to our spotlight car for right now. And if you can tell us more about this.
Yeah, Jay, I'd like to tell you about this car. Once again, this is an all original car, original factory paint, factory interior, factory drivetrain. It's all, I like to say there's nothing but factory worker fingerprints on it, which is a little exaggeration, but it's close to being true.
Now, the first thing that I see when I notice the car is the front.
Yeah.
The big grille, big bumper, double headlights, like someone is just staring at you.
Yeah, that's quite a grill, isn't it? Yeah. Now this is 1961, and this is a Plymouth Fury. 4-door sedan. But look at that bumper. Look at isn't that something?
Looks just like my trimmer.
And I really want you to come around and take a look at this interior. You know, Chrysler, in my opinion, had the most creative interiors. Whoever did their interior designs and picked out all their fabric options and stuff was, in my opinion, geniuses. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. Again, push button transmission. Everything works on this car just the way it should, including the clock. Keeps perfect time. All the lights, signals, everything, yeah. It's a piece of history. Steering wheel is in great shape, no cracks.
This is in here. Oil gauge. Yeah, no, beautiful, beautiful dash. I'm like, this is probably one of my favorite interiors of the cars that we've done today.
Yeah.
So.
The dash is just
with
perfect. Yeah.
And I see, is this common amongst this era with the high-low
Yeah,
driver?
that's what Chrysler did, the high-low thing, yeah.
And now, what engine is this on?
This engine is a 318 two-barrel in here. So it's not highly powerful, but it gets along just fine. And
You mind if we take a look?
fairly clean, yeah, we can take a look at it. Pretty clean for an unrestored car. Not bad. Now this is the first year for an alternator. Other than in 1960, the Plymouth Valiant got an alternator. But all the other cars all got generators. 61, the entire lineup of Chrysler automobiles got alternators, which was a huge improvement.
And I see again a regular battery for driving around.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Manual brakes, but power steering.
Where did you find this car, and have you done anything so far to it?
Actually, I found this car just on the internet. It's an acquaintance of mine in California that had it. And I actually can't remember now. I've only had it for a couple months, but I can't remember if he contacted me or if I just saw it on the internet or what. But anyway, I saw it, and then I called him up and said, yeah, you know, I'd like to buy it. And it was for sale, and so I bought it. But I haven't really done anything to it other than kind of clean it up. I kind of washed it off a little bit and just been driving it around. I drove it on a trip last weekend up to Brainerd and back, and through the rain too. And it ran flawlessly perfect, no problems at all. So,
What was your purpose for buying this car? What was your intent?
well, to be honest with you, I like it because, in my opinion now, it's ugly. It's so ugly that it's beautiful. I think, and several people have said that to me. People it's either a love it or hate it type situation. Some people just think it's absolutely beautiful, and some people just think that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen, which is the camp that I'm in. And it just makes me smile. And I just thought, well, it's
Had to have it?
yeah, had to have it.
Now, I'm sure the viewers would like to know, but what color do you think this car is?
I
Because
don't
we've been
know.
talking about it here in the shop, and we've gone back and forth. I say it's pink, you say it's tan. We'll let the viewers decide.
It's tan to me. I can see a little pink in there, but it's tan. One of the things I always just thought was funny about these cars, these tail lights, you know. I just think that, you know, they screwed a couple of flashlights on the back.
I was just gonna say, it looks like they didn't really put much thought into the back, and then they said, oh, let's just put some lights on.
We forgot tail lights. I'll just screw a couple flashlights on there. I think it's just weird.
I will say though, out of the back, the trunk is probably my favorite with this center piece right here.
Yeah, it's kind of neat, kind of a brushed aluminum piece, and look at that little emblem on there. It's just flawlessly perfect. Try to find one of those nowadays. Holy cow, good luck. But you know, all the stuff, all the chrome is in great shape. That's all factory chrome. It hasn't been redone. But you look at it and it's almost perfect.
You said it rides, it drives, everything works. Any other plans that you have for this car? Any other?
I don't. I'm just going to drive it around and enjoy it, and it is what it is, and I just think it's fun.
Oh.
It's a car I don't have to worry about. You know, some of these cars are so rare and so expensive. Like I told you about the letter cars and the DeSoto Adventurers. It's really risky driving around in public where somebody can run into you and ruin it. But a car like this, it's not highly valuable, and it's not a worrisome car that, you know, it's not the end of the world if something happens to it, or even if I get stuck in the rain, it's not that big a deal. It can be washed up, and so yeah.
So we've talked about the cherry bomb, we've talked about the F-bomb. Would it be fair to say that this is the ugly bomb?
Well, I didn't think of that, but that's not bad.
Again, no, like, if you look at the siding, I love the ribbing here. Man, the style, I wish it would come back.
Yeah.
Just even the hubcaps, even like you won't see anything like this
They're
nowadays.
pretty neat. A lot of details in those hubcaps. God, and they're just about in perfect condition. It's quite a car.
And of course, you've got that Fury convertible that we did the YouTube video on as well.
That's right, yeah.
You can find that on our channel.
60 Fury, yeah.
Well, thank you again, Randy, for showing us the available collection, and for now, the Ugly Bomb. So, again, we appreciate it, and thank you for watching.
Thank you, Jay.